Elikem Kumordzie is in the building.
Bossman. Turas.
What's up?
Good, bro.
Man, good to see you. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Good to see you too.
Elikem told me something, baby. He was like, you know what? Say you benin, not any scars. Not on some that means you're a lazy man.
Yep.
Na ishia benin pan and then some yen. Then now on scars now didn't anyway that one a hard working guy.
A man has to be fearful, huh?
Fearful and ugly and smelly, but smell nice.
Well,
Not stinky.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, you also said something that like I've journeyed with all my life ever since I've met him, right? It says when you are thinking or dreaming about making a decision, make sure you think hard and think long before you make that decision.
Right.
And that has really helped me a lot. And
I'm
today
humbled.
on Max TV, I want to say thank you so much.
Oh, no, you're welcome.
You know, he's a philosopher, man.
Just a little bit. There's also one thing I said, that by all means, marry. You know, we're saying this in the light of philosophy.
Yeah.
And that when you marry a good woman, you find a good thing and your home flourishes.
Yeah.
But when your marriage goes bad, you become a philosopher. So that's where my philosophy stems from.
So you begin thinking about
You think a lot about, you know, sometimes you think, have you failed? Or where are you going? Or where are you getting with life? And what's going to happen with your kids? And are you going to get better moving on? It's you crawl into a certain, you know, state and state of mind where your mental health could be, you know, almost tampered with. And then you need to critically look at yourself and find a way to get out of it. You know, and so I've been in that phase before, and this is where, you know, all these things come from. And about thinking, the thing is that when you find yourself in a certain situation, you're thinking of how to either get out of the situation or what took you or brought you into the situation. Now, the thing is, the thinking that got you into the situation you're in now is not the same thinking that will get you out.
Wow.
So you need to change your way of thinking.
To be able to get out.
To be able to get out. So it's okay to think and ponder over what the problem is, but be quick to now think solution. So I'm solution based, and that's what thinking does for me.
Wow.
So I'm happy it had an impact on you too.
Yeah.
Creative people are mad.
You say?
Creative people are mad.
We are. Crazy.
Okay,
We're
so-
crazy. That's the word.
Yeah,
We're not
because-
mad. We're crazy.
I call it mad because in all the chaos, something good comes out of it.
Right. Right.
And
In all the chaos.
yes, something good, of
comes,
course.
yeah.
I mean,
They also say, not to cut you,
yeah.
in adversity, a man finds himself. So you only get a certain sort of paradigm shift, or you only start thinking different or wanting to become different when something drastic happens to you. You find out that people make life-changing decisions and they decide to become healthier only because they might have been threatened by death. Maybe like a cardiac arrest, obesity, diabetes. That's when they start seriously checking their diets, and that's when their bodies
Self-awareness
reshape and their
everything.
minds and everything. So you need to have gone through a certain kind of adversity to reprogram and shift your mind, or to have some sort of a paradigm shift.
Hi, Elikem.
Hi, we haven't said hello. I'm sorry, I talk too much.
No, you don't.
Forgive me.
This is what TV is about. It gets people to know you more.
Right.
And, we all have our lives to live. We all have our own corner space. And yet, people do not really understand from where, creative people come from.
Right.
Because, like I said, the kids doing things. I don't know anything say. No, I don't know what you say. I don't know what you say. We all have things we do to get what we want, or to put out what we want.
Right.
I'd ask you what you think about growth. You know why? That is the question, but I'll tell you why I'm asking you that.
Right.
I used to walk, I take a walk with my late dad
Right.
in front of your shop, like every evening, because I'm so close
Right.
to your place. I used to actually come to your pharmacy all the time.
Okay.
And your brother is my very good friend too.
Troy. Eh?
Yeah, Troy. But I
For
haven't
real?
seen him. Oh yeah,
Troy.
Troy and I.
Troy. When I met you, also you said
Troy.
you knew Troy.
Troy and I.
And the
You know
Cameroon
Troy,
days.
you know
Your
Shout
Troy
out
and I
to Troy.
go way
Hey, Troy,
back.
shout
Tolo, Don
Yeah,
Tolo.
go way back. But it wasn't about that. It was about every time I see him doing something new.
Yeah.
Aside the noise that he could give us on the bike every day.
My noisy
yeah,
bike.
yeah, but now I don't really hear it. But he's always up to something.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And you come see him do this, and then the next minute he's doing more than what you saw him doing.
Yes.
And
Right.
it strikes my mind. I'm like, what is he doing there? Build, break, build, break, build, break, build, break. But you know me, I like to mind my business, you know, a lot of times. So
everything.
Not today. Today you're not.
yeah, because I get the opportunity to
Right, right.
to
It's the
to
right
be
time
sitting
and
here
place.
to ask
Right,
you all of
right.
that. What do you think about growth as a person?
I think that's
as a creative person.
Okay, from a creative standpoint, first of all, I think that's a very solid question. And I think growth is important. It's necessary. It's still smelly and disgusting to stay stagnant. When water stays in a corner for a long time with no heat or sunshine or ventilation, it grows the green spirals.
And all, yeah.
And so water needs to constantly flow
Yeah.
or move or evolve for that matter, whether it's frozen or the sun shines and it evaporates. Same with growth. When you stay stagnant, you are unfortunately going to be smelly, disgusting, and eventually you grow molds and become too old. People will not want to deal with you. Now, for me, I insist on forcing growth because it's easy to stay comfortable. It's easy to just make a few hundreds of thousands of CDs and be like, oh, Jale, I get some small money now, make a chill. So this is you going out, wilding out, spending money, blowing money, eating expensive food, and next thing the money is running out. You have no proper investments. You have no real thing to fall back on because you get comfortable. So no matter where you find yourself in whatever financial situation or whatever marital status or whatever, you need to grow. Everything is meant to grow and evolve. I have a son right now, he's a year and 6 months old, and I look at him like, wow, my son is actually growing.
Yeah.
He actually now remembers things, he repeats things, he listens now. And it's beautiful to see the child grow from
Not being able to say,
crawling, to walking, to talking. And I also have a 7-year-old. And I also sit back and look at him. He used to be like the 1-year-old, but now he's on his iPad and he's talking to himself and he can have a full-on conversation with you. We all grow.
Yeah.
So seeing these children grow just advises me to say, damn.
Why
Excuse
can-
my French. Can I use that word on TV? It's fine. So that only advises me to say, then it means I'm also growing and I must also evolve. Now, at a certain age, your body almost stops growing, like maybe within your late 20s to 30s to 40s. You kind of look like the same person for a long time.
You were telling me that.
No, you're even looking better. Like when I met Tiraz almost like a decade ago in South Africa. I call him Tiraz, I'm sorry. You call him
He's
Alex.
Tiraz.
He's still Tiraz.
Yeah.
still
I
Tiraz.
call you Alex also. He was a much chubbier guy, but you can see he's in a much cleaner space now because
Thank you.
This is where I'm coming to. You grow in your mind at a certain age when your body stops growing.
All right.
You need to develop your mind and become a much better person and
Thank you.
evolve mentally from what you knew from, let's say, your early 20s into your 30s. So growth is very, very important. And then you force growth at that age by learning. The more you learn, the more you earn. You earn knowledge, you earn a bit of wisdom, you grow. You can also learn from people's experiences or
Get
your own
understanding.
experiences. Just learn. Just learn, get understanding, grow. Then you grow mentally, then your body, so by the time your body wants to continue growing and give up on you, you would have built such a solid mental state to the point where, you're not shaking anymore. And then one day we're all gonna go and leave this earth. May your dad may so rest in peace. We celebrated my dad's 20th death anniversary last year, and he also passed away. And he died at 57. And in one of my speeches, I said, he lived 2 or 3 times the life he was supposed to live before he died at 57.
Wow.
Because his colleagues who are 70-something now have not still achieved what he did by the time he was 57. And that's what growth is about.
Wow.
That is fantastic. Now, I'm getting to know Elikem the Taylor. But let's break it down, eh?
That is beautiful. Beautiful
Okay, we'll
morning,
break it down. So now, Let's get lighter. Elikem is a tailor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Elikem is a tailor. If you don't know, I you saying the cool you tape.
I'm the tailor's tailor.
Okay, so he's a
I'm all
tailor's
your
tailor.
tailor's tailor. I'm not just a tailor.
That means he's your favorite tailor's favorite tailor.
There you
okay,
go.
So something like that. All right, so he's a tailor. Tailor, seamstress, tailor, we all hate them.
Actor.
Let's be frank and let's talk. We all hate them, eh? December, we hate them the more. Because you take your material, go give tailor. You know?
Disappointing.
Right now, we like the tailors more than the seamstress and the communities. Because now,
they're
it make like,
effective,
you know,
right?
Watchman 10 security, that kind of level.
Right, some flex come inside small.
Some flex
Watchman 10
so,
security.
yeah, so it make, you know, and the reason why Watchman 10 security be say, the Watchman evolve, it be time conscious,
Right.
it be neat,
Yeah,
it be
yeah.
this,
The way
it
uniform.
the way it do things. Now, you know, be
You know be small boy,
watchman
you know
because
be-
first
you know be
if
baba.
you be watchman in why the uso kokonsapon you watchman for you na side no just tailor for you aye
Well,
you know
Rasta.
yeah and I'm high so we don't like tailors because we've had to deal with them from what we knew them to be. Now there's still the growth matter. When we evolve it into something as beautiful as you know they have a whole
Structure. I call it a structure. I have
Good.
a structure.
That's the word. They have structure. They are not say I won't fan saying them now they tarena so ni madia you know that kind of talk. They are doing shows showcasing their stuff. They're on digital platforms. They're on this. Now that is what I'm going to be talking about.
Right.
Still, me mama pama dia onya ni sika pepepe. Na mu me. Fami to mama the best so many. You know? So that is how it is. So how did you if one day I woke up and Elikem had a tape around his neck.
And I was running around town with it.
With it.
And I still am.
Yes, that is what I know. I don't know the story. I know that he's been asked, he's gone on 1 billion platforms and everything. But I didn't see him but one day I see him for TV, he get this thing around his neck. I was like, okay, dude got something else going on. Because he always has something else going on.
Right.
You know, so what has evolved? Because I know people know about that. What is this whole tailoring about and how has it evolved? How is it going in that space?
I'll summarize my story quickly, how I started. I went to the University of Ghana, Legon, to do Bachelor of Fine Arts, the first degree. I ended up combining psychology with theater arts. But at level 300, before I went to 400, I was having problem with paying tuition. So this is me not having money for school fees and thinking, what am I going to do? So I deferred 1 year of the course.
Okay.
And while I was at home, you know, like I'm saying, the thinking, you think hard, think long. What am I going to do? How am I going to do it? Okay, think solution. What can get me out of this situation to get me back to school? I still didn't figure anything out. So this is me going to get shirts and clothes from boutiques. And there was a certain lady at the time, her shop was called Casta Diva. It was at Coco Memle. So I go to her shop, she had a little scooter bike and I knew how to ride a bike. So it came in handy for me that I was, you know, the bike boy, the guy who knew town and the zongos and so on and so forth. So I'll go for her shirts and I'll go and sell in town. But I couldn't see myself working for anyone because the money that was coming in was not money enough that I could
Pay your
save
tuition, yeah.
enough to go pay my tuition. So it's like, what else can I do? So I find myself buying shirts from Kantamanto and I always want to look different. I never wanted to look like the average guy. Or I want to wear a particular shirt with a certain print and it's not available. Mind you, we didn't have like your Primarks and your Zaras. Like, you know, even in South Africa, you can walk into a Pick and Pay and shop for something nice. You can get black jeans, you can get white. But in Ghana, it's difficult. You have to go through maybe the Kantamantos. So I go to Kantamanto, I pick up clothes and it's not finished the way I want or it doesn't have the touch of what I'm looking for. So this is me going back and modifying the clothes. I change the buttons, I put some African print somewhere, then I put my name. So immediately when you see the shirts, you're looking at me like, Elikem, that's a nice shirt. Who made it? Then I said, oh, it's me. Then people just started falling in love with wanting the clothes. Again, I told you, a man finds himself in adversity.
Yes.
So when you're down and out and you don't know what to do, and you keep going, something comes out.
Where you get into it.
So now people wanted to order stuff I was wearing. Now they wanted it in different colors. Kantamanto now they didn't have the same shirt in different colors. You know,
So they have to come
it's
to you.
exclusive. Cantamanto is exclusive.
Yeah.
So they come to me and they want this color. And I'm thinking, again, the thinking that got me to drop out of school is not the thinking I used to develop the fact that I could buy fabric and take it to a container tailor. So now I changed my thinking. Then I thought long. Now in my thinking long, I go buy fabric and I don't know how to sew, but I'm looking for a way to make money, to make ends meet. Again, in adversity, a man finds himself. So I take the clothes to the tailors. Now the tailors charge me a small fee. Then I come back to Turaz and say, hey, it's 50, but the tailor probably charged me 30. Now I make a markup of 20 cedis. Now I just need to make sure the tailor finishes on time, otherwise I'm disappointing Turaz. Now coming from a place of, a little bit of logic and thinking, I don't want to disappoint Turaz because I know it's bad for business. How would Turaz come back to me if I disappoint him? So now I have to go and sit by these tailors and make sure they finish on time. Again, adversity, a man finds himself. So now I find myself sitting by the machine and wanting to finish the bottom of the clothes because the tailor's real customer is coming and he needs to stop mine to finish. So I just sit on the machine and I'm like, God help me, let me try this out. And everything I saw just kept coming back to me. No one had to show me thread the machine this way, step on it that way. All I had to do was watch and pay attention to what the guy was doing. And I could thread the machine and I stitched my first shirt with no lesson. I was like, this is not normal. How did I just do this? But I've always prided myself as a handyman. My middle name is Mr. Possibility.
Yeah.
So I thought of it as, I'm just handy, I can figure it out. Now I go to the shop and there's a spare machine and I'm modifying my own clothes now, finishing stuff the guy's doing, wearing it, going to town, and people ask me, that's a nice shirt. So I realized that my market or my sales was coming from people just asking me, that's a nice shirt. So always emphasize on the nice shirt and find a way to get people to ask you what you're selling. So now I start putting the tape around my neck. How are people going to recognize that I made this shirt? And yeah, I sold it because the tailor was busy. And so they asked me to make one for them. That's when I started wearing the tape measure. So I wear the tape measure to, back in the day, it was Rhapsodies. That was the popping place at Accra Mall. I used to go to Rhapsodies a lot. So I wear the tape measure around my neck on a shirt I've made and I'm in Rhapsodies. And people see me, oh, did you make the shirt? Are you a tailor? Some people even go as far as saying, boss, Charlie, you leave your tape for your neck or you forget your tape. Then I'm like, no, it's intentional. Because tailors walk out to their shops forgetting there's a tape around their neck. So that's how I started business. And it was good to the point where I'll take shirts from these guys who are at Rhapsodies, spending money and give it to these average container kiosk tailors and they do it for me. And again, I was having problems with their finishing time. So this is me now saving to buy my first machine. It cost me about 400 Ghana cedis to buy a single stitch and a zigzag machine, put it on my father's porch. Again, I didn't have any money to rent. So I worked from home, from the humble beginnings. And so the one machine, I'll bring the clothes back home, finish it quickly, and deliver it to the tailors. Now, I thought to myself, I started learning. Again, the more you learn, the more you earn. How can I make a business out of the business? Because now it's making me money. It was actually able to take me back to school. I skipped that part. So I actually made some small money, gathered it, paid school fees, and I couldn't pay the hostel fee anymore. So now I started going from home. That's where the motorbike came in. The motorbike was very essential in my up and down because I'm going to Accra.
I used to think that you were just making noise, but you was going to school. He was working.
I'll go to Accra, I buy fabric, I go to school, I come back, I stitch for the customers, and I built my customer base from 1 to probably 10,000 right now.
Why did you think you needed to go back to school?
I just felt like...
But the reason I'm asking that is, I'm sorry, if you got to that level where you did get...
It would have been okay, right? You're making some money now.
But you did go back to school?
Yes, because I made myself a promise that I'm only defer. So it was very hard for me to say, let me defer. It was hard for me to go to people and beg and ask for money. Oh, boss, my school fees. A lot of kids come to me and say they have school fees issues. I'll send them 500 cedis sometimes. I'll send them 1,000 cedis sometimes. I help them pay the fees, hostel fees. But it was hard for me to go to people. So I applaud people who genuinely have a problem with school and ask for help. But sometimes also helping people too much spoils them. Because for me, it was that adversity that helped me find myself. And so it was hard for me to ask people. And so I made a promise to myself that if you're really not going to ask anyone and you're really not going to beg for the money or pay the school fees in bits or find a way, then promise yourself if you leave, you are genuinely going to find the money only to come back.
I like
Okay.
I like
So
the
I came
word
back.
Okay.
promise, right? What did you
Right.
promise yourself when you were finding yourself?
Right, it'd be hard like that. It's very hard to promise yourself when you are not sure of where you are. But you see, we're on a certain trajectory of life where you need to consciously set your goal or your aim. Where do you want to be? I want to be like Zara. It's big. Zara has thousands of department stores all over. He's the king of retail. I want to be one of the best retail guys from Ghana to the world. So like a typical Zara situation, big, massive productions, worldwide distribution. I'm planning on setting up branches already, places, and so on and so forth. So once I have that goal and I know where I want to go, now it's easy for me to promise myself to say, hey, you need to stay disciplined. Number one, keep your body fit, keep your mind intact, read a few books a month, talk to this person, find a mentor, fix problems, so that when you know where you want to go and you've promised yourself, when these troubles and trials and tribulations come along the way, you know that, man, I'm on a trajectory. Stay focused. And it's the hardest thing to do, discipline, focus, and we always slack every now and then, you know, but ultimately, if you even achieve 80% of your goal, that's an A plus, isn't it?
Would
Or
you
an A.
say that school has actually helped? It helped to mold you way before you even found yourself as a tailor. Because you see, I listen to you talk, and most people find all of those solutions after they get something small. You understand? After they keep falling 100 times.
Yeah.
You have made mention of finding a mentor. You have made mention when you were making money, then you were thinking about all of these things coming in play. Because most people, when they get there, it's like, I'm already there. What do I need a mentor for? I'm already there. Why am I thinking I need to get?
Where are you? Are you the richest man in the world?
No,
Are you the
people
richest guy in
think
Ghana?
that, you know,
Are you the
Obia-
most successful
you see,
tailor?
people, most people, you know, and we've all been there. When if you are coming near down, so come down, now starting kakra, you are there.
That's what I'm saying. You become comfortable.
Yeah, you're there.
Yeah.
Because then, you know, when you don't have a job and you're looking for a job that actually is, you want a job that will pay you 500 cedis, and then you go get a job that pays you 700 cedis. Yo, you're there.
You're on top of the world.
You understand? So you might not be the richest person. At that moment, you are.
But you're okay with
see?
yourself,
And
yeah.
people forget when they get there.
Yeah. They get
So,
comfortable.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying that when you got to a place where it was rather, you could have made a choice, say,
To stop.
sir, salty, and then another thing. So you make your clothes, you sew.
Yes, yes.
There was
I
rumor.
sew myself, yeah.
There was rumor that Elikem don't make the clothes.
Well, not anymore. I've grown, I've evolved. When I started, I had only one machine on my porch. I used to sew by myself. But I've evolved into a team. I have a team of 20 people. I used to be my operations manager. I saw my customers myself. I go buy fabric in Makola myself. I come, I sit down, I sew myself. And I've moved from being the structure to setting up a structure. So I employ people.
But you can sew.
I employ people and teach them what I've learned over the decade.
But you can
and they
sew.
become the structure. Yes, I can sew. I used to sew myself. I can sew for you right now.
That's brilliant. I'll come to your shop. I know where it is.
Yeah, I can. So like I'm saying, I first of all, to have a successful business, and this is free advice for anybody who's watching. Okay, first of all, know the structure. Become the structure. Become it. Get the knowledge, so that when you employ someone and they're even doing for you what you ask them, you know if they're doing the right things.
Or not.
Exactly.
Every structure in my business right now, I have been through. I've been through the tailoring phase. I've been through operations. I have an operations manager. I have a sales manager. I've done sales. I've done
The
customer
styling
service.
phase.
Everything. Marketing, styling, creative design. Now I have a creative director, but I used to be a creative director. Now I have a marketer who does a bit of social media and my graphics for me. I used to do all that myself. I still even edit my own reels.
You're very real. Okay, so bottom line, I hear that you're out there trying to teach some folks
Yes.
how to sew. Now,
Yes.
tell us a bit about that. I cannot let you go without telling me about that, because then that is going to benefit someone out there.
Right,
you know.
definitely. So I started this journey of becoming a tailor all by myself, and I've been on this dark path all by myself for over a decade. And I'm thinking to myself, all these kids come to my DM and they say, Elikem, we want to learn how to sew, please teach us. And you know, I some of them are not serious. They only want to sew because they think there's money in it. And some of them I call in for an interview. So what I do is sometimes some kids come with their parents and they're begging me. I have a kid, Derek, who's in my store right now. He dropped out of tech, of the University of Science and Technology, dropped out plain point blank that he won't go to school anymore. He wants to do fashion, and he wants to do fashion with me. That's my creative guy right now at the moment, my most creative guy in the shop. And I don't regret taking him. He has a hand length discrepancy. One arm is short. So his self-confidence was shattered. He didn't know what to do. He called me up and said, what should he do? One of his arms is short. People are laughing at him. They say it's juju from when he was born. So I give him a bit of advice. I tell him to go look up his condition and learn about it. It's just a small deformity that's not a deformity. Everything works perfectly. So he went, he did his research, he came back, then he said he wants to do music, sends me his song. So over a period of 2 years, we kept talking, and now he's at my place and I'm teaching him for free. Now, there's also 2 other kids, George and Ima, that I'm teaching as apprentices, but they've paid a sum of money, and they've also brought their machines. Now, what I do is I do a small interview, and I assess, do some bit of introspection and see where you're coming from, what you want to do, and why you want to do fashion. Then when I find the little spark in you, I'm happy to help, because you come back to me, you know, appreciative at least. So now, Tough College, that's what it's called. Tough College is a collaboration with me and Reverend John. Reverend John is he's a pastor at a church in Jolu, and he came up with the initiative. He came from the UK, America, and came up with the initiative to say, because he was given, his tuition was paid for to go to school in America or the UK. He's both places, so it's a bit confusing. But because his tuition was fully paid for, he wants to give back.
Okay.
As a form of a humanitarian thing, where kids come to school tuition free. Now, he's also a creative guy. So he set up the School of Cosmetology. He set up a school to teach sound engineering, photography. He's also set up a school for editing software and stuff. Now, Hammer, of the last 2, is actually the one in charge of the media school and the school of editing and the sound engineering. So he's collaborated with a team of, you know, professionals at the pinnacle, at the top of their professions and creative fields, to give back free tuition to these kids. So what we're doing is we're doing 10 students per year for the rest of our lives, if God permits.
You expand
You know, we can expand, but 10 students per year for now, where we give them free tuition. They come and learn for free the trade of fashion. But it's strictly by interviews and so on and so forth, because we need to know that you're in a good place and you really want to learn this, and then we help you to become better to God. And then,
do we call on a number?
Yes.
Do we?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's tuition free.
Is the book
and
fully
I'm in
booked
charge.
like it's booked this whole year? It's done.
It's booked, but we're doing the interviews in a few days.
Okay. All right.
So if anyone's listening and they want, you know, free tuition, they want to learn fashion, cosmetology, sound engineering, photography, call or WhatsApp 0550 171 171. It's an easy number.
0550 171 171.
171.
Okay, so it's 0550 171 171.
Or you can go to my, I'm sorry, you can go to my fashion page and also send a DM, and you'll be redirected to certain numbers and procedures and what to do. And so it's tuition free. And then after, I select 2 of the best students to come and become apprentices at my place to learn more of the business of fashion.
Well done.
Congratulations. What a good one.
Proud of you.
I've gotten to learn more about Elikem. Okay, so changing lives with the scissors. Do well to bring the scissors to the interview. I swear to God, that will give you a plus. Trust me, that means you're serious about the business.
You know where you're coming.
0550 171 171. Makai, I was so to Makai sharp. Mawabrabo here. What do you say? Elikem was here. Told us so much. He's told us so much in less than.
You walk
you know, no, you have actually enlightened. This thing You have to go and pay to get to hear it. People say seminars, and these are some of the things you go to listen to inspire you to be better. So there you go. 0550171171. 0550171171. Opese ushia de pamu ye. Opese bia we sound engineering, photography, cosmetology. Na twetwa nkrofo ani achi sound engineering papa o. Enye kwaji o papa o. 0550171171. Ye ka say e free ntino. Obesa na utie bia na waba. Mzimini adwuma ntino me kwa kope bia yesterday. Okay, nkogumani ma ase. All right. Ntino fret. Thank you to Elikem. Elikem, would you come visit us again?
Yeah,
Oh
please
yeah,
do.
when you call me, so
It's not
This
true.
is home.
We
No,
may call you like
yeah,
Come on,
no.
this is home.
It's
This is
true, and I didn't know Alex was on like that. I would have run and come a long time. So
Keep calling
I was
him.
supposed to come even before I went to Zimbabwe at Christmas, but the times were not favorable. But I think it's a good time now because we get to talk about tough college. So
Yeah.
see, there
Thank
we
you.
go.
I'm not. You call him. Bring him. Okay.